Alright, this is John Kohler with OKRaw.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. Today, just got back from the Los Angeles Wholesale Produce Terminal, as well as the farmers markets and whatnot in Southern California. So I want to give you guys an episode actually of my produce haul, also my plant haul, but more importantly kind of tie into that the optimal storage temperatures for all the different fruits and vegetables that I bought this trip, right? I mean, that's one of the things I've had to learn over the many years, 22 years now that I've been into raw foods, is how do you store the produce the best way possible so that it stores the longest, right? So that you don't have your produce going bad before you have a time to eat it. This is especially important if you're buying in bulk like I do, right? Of course, you know, if the produce is going bad, then, you know, I like to juice it, just get it out of my refrigerator and into me, you know. So juicing concentrates the volume of fruits and vegetables I can't eat to make them significantly more than just trying to eat the fruit and vegetable alone. So yeah, and another question I get a lot of when I do these episodes is, John, how do you store the produce? Well, now I'm going to share with you guys how to do that in this episode. So by the end of this episode, you're going to be an expert in produce storage, any kind of produce, so you guys could maximize your shelf life and keep the nutrition and the taste levels as high as possible. Anyways, let's go ahead and open the trunk of the car and show you guys what I got this trip. All right, so as you guys can see, I got produce and plants. So here we got some heirloom sugar beets. And now the first thing I want to tell you guys is check this out, right? Once you harvest a fruit or vegetable, right, then there's a time, it has a timeline where, you know, from like here to like there, when it's like done, right, it goes bad. The cool thing is when you're growing plants, these babies are still alive, you know. These leaves will not go bad. Like cut salad greens, they're gonna go bad. These guys are still living. And I only pick the greens on here when I'm ready to eat them. So there's no, you know, storage necessary. And this is what I encourage you guys to do, right? This is the best way to eat our food. No storage, right? We shouldn't have to be going to the produce terminal. We should be living in a Garden of Eden where you can just go out and harvest all your greens as well as your fruits fresh and just pick them as you need them, and they could just be held on the tree or in the plants. So yeah, these are heirloom sugar beets. They're gonna make beet roots, which are quite sweet. They're white, and also the greens grow really well, pretty much for a full year. So yeah, I get a lot of use out of these guys. Another plant I would encourage you guys to grow are these guys. This is the dinosaur kale or lacinato kale, black kale, Tuscan kale. There's so many different words for it. But this kale is one of the best kales to grow because it tolerates the heat quite well. 100 degrees plus, no problem. 32 degrees, 30 degrees, no problem whatsoever. These guys just get sweeter in the cold weather. And now in the hot weather, you know, they're a little bit more stronger tasting, but hey, that's a sign of more phytonutrients that are probably anti-cancer and whatnot. But yeah, I also like the dino kale. And once again, these plant starts right, no expiration provided they're still on the plant. Next flat coming out are these guys. This is actually heirloom strawberry spinach. So this is another kind of spinach you guys may not be familiar with. Unless you're growing it yourself, you've probably never tried this strawberry spinach. It makes these little red fruits like strawberries. They don't taste nothing like strawberries, and they're not really that sweet, but they're interesting. But it does make leafy greens that are very similar and related to the standard spinach that you guys know and love. And it has a quite neat flavor. These are a shorter term crop, you know, so these aren't going to hang out like as long as the beet greens or the dinosaur kale that I showed you. But I like to get variety, and you know, that's why I really want to encourage you guys to grow your own food, because it allows you to get more variety into your diet, because some of the things that I grow, you just can't even buy. I mean, even if you had $1 million, you couldn't even buy this stuff. Okay, last bunch of plants I got here in the trunk. I got some ornamental kale and cabbage. So, you know, I'm really want to encourage you guys to grow your foods and eat your foods of color. So I got like a lot of purple and reddish colored kales and cabbages, and some white ones too, just because they're pretty. But even the ornamental cabbages and kales, they are edible. Most oftentimes they're grown for only looking pretty, but these are absolutely edible, and I encourage you guys to grow them. Sometimes when they sell ornamental kale and cabbages, they may be treating them with chemicals and whatnot because they're grown for ornamental use and not edible use. So if you are buying these for edible use, then I would encourage you guys to make sure that the place you're buying them from does not spray or start them from seed. All right, let's go ahead and get into some of the produce and the deals I got, and also the optimal storage temperatures. Okay, first fruit I'm going to share with you guys today I got at the farmer's market here. We went to the Torrance Farmers Market. These are the sapotes, or green sapotes. And if you're like wondering, John, how come you got that landing strip down the middle? Well, these are just sponges, and I just bought some sponges because I needed sponges for my kitchen. But the reason why I put the sponges in the middle is because the way this was set up, and when I closed the trunk, you guys see that little hinge there? That hinge was just going to gouge in the middle row. So I put the sponges there so they wouldn't get gouged by the door. Anyways, these sapotes were $2 a pound, and I got a bunch. I got like this little flat full. And how I'm going to store these sapotes are in the fridge, in a warmer fridge, because I have 3 fridges. They're each set at different temperatures. But the best way to store the sapote is between like 66 to 70 degrees, provided they're not ripe like this. And they'll store for 2 to 3 weeks. Now these guys are a bit riper, so I'm going to probably put them in a fridge that's a little bit colder, and I'm going to be eating these over the next couple days, because once they get ripe, you got to eat them really quick. So the next fruits I got some chirimoya. This was a whole flat of chirimoya. I end up eating some of them, and so we got some of the sapotes in here. But as you guys can see, I don't know if you guys can see that, but these chirimoyas actually are quite ripe, and actually they got some mold on them because I haven't been storing these guys properly. These guys should be stored at about 50 to 55 degrees to retain optimal flavor. You know, storing below recommended temperatures may cause damage to the fruit. They may turn black inside if they're a tropical fruit or something like that. You know, they may just, the taste may like not taste as good as they should or whatnot. But anyways, if you store these guys at the proper temperature, they could last like 2 to 3 weeks, which is amazing. And check this out. If you guys store these at 60 degrees, which is like probably like car ride back here, it'll only store for like 2 to 3 days. So just, you know, 10 degrees difference, 5 degrees difference in temperature could mean your fruit lasting a long time to just a short amount of time. So yeah, these guys are already molded, just surface mold. They're gonna be fine on the inside, but once again, this is probably like maybe my next meal, maybe even after this video. And oh, the chirimoya, $2.75 a pound for a nice ripe chirimoya. All right, let's see how I could do some magic. Poof! All right, you guys can see what we got underneath there. All right, we got my luggage, that don't count. But what we got is we got some blueberries. So I got the blueberries today at Heath and Lejeune, and they're a dedicated organic produce supplier in LA. And I go there when I need to get something specific, and a regular terminal didn't have the blueberries today. So I got these. It was 12 4.4 ounces organic blueberries, natural ripe. It was like $19.95. So that's pretty cheap, you know. But you know, I spent like good money for these guys, and buying them from Heath and Lejeune in this situation is actually cheaper than buying them from Costco, which is where I normally get them. This time of year, they sell like 18-ounce containers for like maybe $9.99, so that's actually even more, but that's actually generally a really good deal, because sometimes wherever you guys live, just these 4-inch little, or the 4-ounce packages might cost like $2.99 or $3.99 each, so I got it for like $1.67 or something like that. But anyways, we ate a flat. Actually, we ate 12 4-ouncers just today for breakfast and lunch between me and Lauren. But to store these guys, you want to store them at like 32 degrees. And if you store them at 32 degrees, you know, I've had these guys last like several weeks in the fridge without any incident, right? Once again, once you break that cold chain, you want to try to minimize the break of the cold chain for as short a time as possible, right? So if you go buy them in the store and they're fridged, you want to try to get them out of the store from their fridge to your house in your fridge as quickly as possible, because the warmer they get, you know, that's also going to, you know, shorten the time that they will store for you once you have them under ideal storage temperatures. So what I got next were some organic mangoes, and we got 2 cases of organic mangoes. Each case was $5 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces for $5. Definitely a good deal for organic mangoes. And these mangoes, some of these guys are ripe, they're kind of soft and ready to eat, and some are a little bit firmer, right? So depending if they're, you know, are soft and ready to eat, then I'll store them in the fridge, and if they're not, then I'm going to store them out of the fridge. And to store mangoes, you want to store them between 50 to 55 degrees, and then they'll be, you know, you'll be able to lengthen their storage time. And the thing with mangoes is I know most of you guys put them in your fridge, and your fridge is definitely not at 50 degrees. Anything below 50 degrees, mangoes will get damaged. Now this may not happen like within a day, but after a couple days you're going to notice on the inside the mangoes may start turning brown, and the texture might get kind of funky and all this kind of stuff, right? So I always encourage you guys to properly store your mangoes and your other fruits, you know, whenever you're able. You know, I might store these in one of my fridges that's maybe in the 40s, 45 or something like that. And, you know, keep an eye on it and not store them there too long. And, you know, I'll be able to eat these. Just me and my girlfriend could like mouth through like a case or two just in a couple days. No problem. Yeah, so anyways, that's how you store your mangoes. Next, what I got coming out is one whole case, 25 pounds of organic peppers. I really want to encourage you guys to eat some peppers. Normally in the summer I grow my peppers, but in the winter I don't. So we got a case of organic red peppers. Heath and Lejeune is an excellent deal actually at Heath and Lejeune. Most things at Heath and Lejeune are actually quite expensive, but I look at their price list and try to find like the best price things. They're gonna serve me the most. And it's definitely the peppers. I love to make a pepper soup, and peppers, if you go to the store and buy them, especially organic ones, man, they could be quite expensive. A couple bucks each sometimes. Anyways, this box of 25 pounds was like $18.75, an amazing deal. And to store these peppers, it's best to store the peppers at about 45 degrees. That's going to ensure they're going to not get any kind of damage due to the cold, and also store for quite a long time. You know, I've stored peppers easily for like 2 weeks, provided they're in good shape once you get them. So one of the main things we do once we get these home is we go through them. Any ones that are damaged, we put those in a bin, and those are the ones like we'll even use tonight or tomorrow. And then the rest of the ones that look pretty good, you know, we'll put them in under proper storage conditions, so they're gonna stay longer. So we'll get to benefit from the peppers. The peppers are one of the most nutrient dense, non-sweet fruits you guys could eat, and I do encourage you guys to eat the red, orange, or yellow peppers whenever you can, instead of the green ones that are actually unripe. All right, so we just got my suitcase here. If you want to see how I travel eating raw, be sure to check the link down below for my last produce haul, where I actually go in and share with you guys all the different gadgets and things I travel with. But the last thing I got today, let's see, got one, whoops, 2 cases, one of my favorite fruits. These guys are known as the cactus fruits. Cactus fruits are, the red ones anyways, are probably one of the most anti-inflammatory fruits, and turmeric, one of the most anti-inflammatory roots that I want to encourage you guys to eat on a regular basis. And I would encourage you guys to, you know, expand the diversity of the foods you're eating in your diet. You know, I know you might always get bananas and mangoes and whatnot, but try some cactus fruits once in a while, you know. My girlfriend just loves to, you know, peel them and then eat them whole. I love to actually juice them. I like to juice like even amounts of reds to greens. The red ones tend to be more antioxidant and nutrient packed. The green ones tend to be sweeter, so they kind of balance each other out. Anyways, I've stored cactus fruits for up to a month actually after purchasing them, provided they're in good shape once you get them. And to do this, you want to store them between 41 degrees and 46 degrees in your fridge. So I actually have a fridge that's actually set at like 44 degrees, and that's the fridge these cactus fruits go into. So they're going to definitely last maybe even up to a month. All right, so that's the trunk. Let's go around to the side and see what we got inside the car. All right, let's check out what else I got on this produce haul. All right, so in the car we got lots of stuff here. So I just got a few random artichokes here. I want to encourage you guys, even if you eat raw, to eat some artichokes. Artichokes are one of the most nutrient dense foods you guys could be eating. And yes, you can't eat them raw, no cooking required. Just eat them as you would eat them if they were cooked. And I want to encourage you guys especially to eat the artichoke hearts. I love that. That's one of my favorite things. Actually, I bought these because 8 artichokes were like $2. And basically I'm just going to go ahead and pick all the hearts into just a saltwater brine solution to see what my home pickled artichoke hearts are going to taste like. Because that was one of my favorite things before I was raw. Anyways, let's see what else we got. We got some tomatoes. So we got Campari tomatoes. I got, they're $1 each, 1 pound each for Winsett Campari, greenhouse grown. And that's the kind I like to eat when, you know, they're out of season in my garden. So you're wondering, John, how do you store your tomatoes? So actually I store my tomatoes out of the fridge in my arid, dry climate where the house, inside the house, is somewhere around 60 degrees. These guys will easily store, depending on the shape they're in when I get them, easily a month, you know, no problem whatsoever. That being said, you don't want to store your tomatoes under 55 degrees because then you'll get some damage to the tomatoes. You know, you may lose flavor, all this kind of stuff. So actually, I'll encourage you guys to leave your just tomatoes out of the counter. And, you know, make sure if there's any damages or holes or anything in there, use those ones first. You want to try to keep the ones intact. And also I find if they have the still the green stems on them and whatnot, they even last a little bit longer. All right, next we got some cucumbers. This is 22 pounds of Baja Organics Persian cucumbers, my favorite little cucumbers to eat. These are what they look like. And these guys have a non-bitter skin. And these guys were 22 pounds for 20 bucks today. And to store your cucumbers, you want to store them optimally between 50 and 54 degrees. You know, that's going to keep them, you know, in pretty good shape without any kind of damage to them. I know a lot of you guys may store them at a lower, colder temperature. It's not optimal, and while you could do that with all the things that I'm talking about today, you know, I'm interested in storing things at as close as I can to the optimal temperatures that I'm sharing with you guys to lengthen or, you know, maximize the time that they can be stored. If you go out of these bounds, try to get them as close as possible to that, so then you're going to minimize the damage, which is going to actually shorten their shelf life. The cucumbers for me have been, you know, more challenging to store than some of the other things I've showed you up till this point, you know, but I should be able to get like easily 2 to 3 weeks out of these cucumbers, and you know, it's no problem. Once we start juicing them, man, we'll throw them into juice and we'll be through them in no time at all. All right, next case coming out. We got a whole case right there. Premium organic Del Monte bananas, 40 pounds, $9 this time at the wholesale produce terminal. I got some of these this time specifically that were kind of more greenish, so they're gonna last a little bit longer. And optimally for your bananas, I never store these guys in the fridge. I store these out of the fridge. The optimal storage temperature for bananas are between like 56 to 58 degrees. They are a tropical fruit, you know, and if you put them in the fridge, you've all done that before, the skin kind of gets gray and gets all kind of funny, and especially this time of year when it's cold in many parts of the country, you may go to the store and see that grayish looking banana, and that's because, you know, that's some cold damage. And sometimes the bananas don't really recover from the cold damage and they never quite taste the same, so I do encourage you guys to avoid those if you guys see them. But, you know, do the best you can, right? Once these guys ripen up, instead of putting them in the fridge, I'll just basically peel them and then they go in the freezer, and then I end up using these guys for the smoothies. But yeah, the other thing I wanted to say is besides your refrigerator where you store your food, right, which usually has a single preset temperature, you could adjust that depending on what you have in there or whatnot. You could also store food in other parts of your home. So if you have like a root cellar, you know, a root cellar has a nice mild temperature, and that'd be a good place to store many fruits and vegetables. Maybe your garage, you know, something like that. Also may have cooler temperatures that are going to better allow you to store the fruits and vegetables at their proper temperature. All right, next case coming out for you guys. We got a whole case right here of these are Heritage Beefsteak tomatoes. These guys are beautiful. Look at them, man. They're like nice, deep and red, and they're heritage, so they're like heirloom. I think this is like 12 pounds. And once again, optimal temperature to store these guys, 54 to 56 degrees, and you're buying things at the produce terminal, and oftentimes it says it actually right there on the side of the box, you know. For me, these guys actually get stored outside the fridge. The fridge is just way too cold, and once again, you know, the tomatoes like this, they'll store easily for me for a month. All right, what we got coming out next is we got one whole case of lettuce. I got a lot of lettuce in my garden, but I couldn't resist the price on these guys. This is basically organic romaine hearts, 3 packs, and there are 12 3-packs total. And guess how much it was? $6. That's 50 cents a 3-pack for organic romaine. I mean, at this price, I don't care if I juice them, cut them into salads or whatever. They're really a simple meal. And to store these guys, they're best stored at like 32 degrees. And they'll last a couple weeks easily in your fridge, provided you get them in good shape. Most valuable thing I got this trip, for the plants anyways, were my tree collards. I got 16 tree collards. These guys basically will grow for years. and provide me endless amounts of collard greens. I want to encourage you guys, once again, you know, grow your own food. Whether you got a balcony or inside an apartment, you can grow sprouts and microgreens. If you got a balcony, live in Southern California, where you're gonna grow the tree collards for sure. One of the best investments you guys could make. All right, next thing we got coming out, we got the Swiss chard. So, you know, these Swiss chards are actually nice size, already harvestable, but these will go in the garden and literally will grow for a year, and I won't have to buy any Swiss chard because I'm growing these plants. So, I mean, instead of spending money and having it go to the produce that you buy and eat, if you have the plants, you can just actually harvest the outer leaves on the plants and continue to eat from it and eat from it and eat from it. So literally just a one-time investment can feed you for a year. And if you buy and invest in fruit trees, they could literally feed you for a lifetime. Next produce item coming out right here, check it out, man. These guys are special. What I got here is I got some carrots. These are purple carrots. I want to encourage you guys to, you know, eat purple carrots, whether you're eating them, shredding them up, or like I'll be doing, juicing them. They're much more higher in anthocyanins than the standard orange carrots. And because of that, I paid like, I think, maybe 4 times as much. I could get the organic Bunny Love carrots at Costco for like 50 cents a pound. I paid $2 a pound from these guys, from a farmer who actually watches my videos, which is kind of fun. So I could have nutrients or anthocyanins that are minimum, or probably like at least like 20 times more nutritious than the orange carrots by getting these purple ones. So that's definitely a better buy in my opinion. Now, to store the carrots, these guys are meant for storage. They're best stored in the ground, of course, you know, if you're growing them. But I'll be storing these in the fridge in a plastic bag. You don't want to let the air in or whatever. And they'll store at 32 degrees easily for a month. But I'll be juicing these guys up. Next coming out, we got this box right here. Let me see if I can get the lid off for you. Good, we got Mignolo Tangelos. This is a nice heavy box, man. It's like 40 pounds. That's how I get my workout. Anyways, these Manolos will store in the fridge, no problem whatsoever. Although they're best stored at like 55 degrees. That's optimal, but you know, even at lower temperatures, I'll probably put in my fridge. It's like 45 degrees. They're gonna store for several weeks, no problem. And these guys will just get turned into juice, and we'll be able to drink that up fast and quick. And we got actually 2 cases of these, 40 pounds for like 13 bucks. It's an amazing deal. So we're getting down to the end of the produce in the haul today. Let's see, my cooler bag here got a couple things. We got some cabbage here, and cabbage, once again, you know, it's a cole crop, anti-cancer. Also, we got the purple, deep purple one. Got this at the farmer's market. They're like $2 for a nice size organic cabbage. These guys will easily store a month, no problem. 32 degrees in your fridge. We've been juicing a lot of these. They have a really nice mellow flavor, also very high in anthocyanins due to the nice deep pigments, plus they're anti-cancer. And they're actually featured in my weight loss juice. I'll put a link down below if I remember to, but you want to check out my weight loss juice recipe. It includes the cabbage as well as the cucumbers and a whole bunch of other things, so you could speed up your weight loss and also improve your health. All right, next inside this bag, we've got a bunch of lemons. These are just not any lemons. These are known as the Meyer lemons. Anyways, I got like 20 of them. They're gonna last a while. And actually the lemons could last up to 6 months in your fridge, believe it or not, if they're stored at the proper temperature, between 45 and 54 degrees. I've had them stored easily for 3-4 months, no problem whatsoever. I mean, think about it. Lemons are popular because they contain citric acid. Citric acid is a natural preservative. They're built into the oranges, I mean the lemons. So, you know, just store them right. They're gonna last a long time for you. And you know, so I try to buy them on sale. We'll make lemon tahini dressing with these. We'll throw them into juices, all kinds of good stuff. Lemons are always valuable. All right, next thing coming out, we got some organic Valencia oranges. Navel season is upon us now, but I got the Valencias because they're better for juicing in my juice press, where I could just juice them up really fast. $13 for 25 pounds at the farmer's market. Oranges are best stored between like 32 and 40 degrees, and I've had them store easily for a month. Once again, just like the lemons, they have the citric acid that's going to help you guys out. And of course, I also do encourage you guys, before storing them, And while they are in storage, you know, go through them every once in a while and look. And there may be one or two you might pull out that's kind of moldy or bad. Sometimes I'll cut off half it, use the other half. And you know, you gotta keep the mold from spreading. So you gotta always check out your produce and give it a once over and see what you need to eat and use it as quickly as you can. Last case coming out right here. Got a case of organic Sunkist Mandarin tangerines. Look at these beauties with the greens on them and everything. These guys are super fresh. These weren't sold by weight. I don't know the exact weight. I'm gonna guess maybe like 20 pounds on these guys. It's 20 pounds for 13 bucks. An amazing deal for these guys. And these guys should be stored, you know, no colder than like 55 degrees. I'll probably put them in my fridge at 45 degrees. And even then, you know, they'll last a couple weeks without any issues. I think I only got like one last item I want to share with you guys that's still in the car. All right, last thing coming out the car tonight. And it's in the thermoelectric cooler. Be sure to check my previous episode on how I travel raw to learn about my thermoelectric cooler. And what you guys see is right in here. This is the juice, man. And this is a sugarcane lemon ginger juice. And these guys are actually highly perishable, way more perishable than any of the fruits I got. I like to store these at like 34 to 36 degrees, maybe even down to 32, cold as possible. And even then, you know, they'll last maybe a maximum of like 3 days before they start to actually oxidize and actually ferment on their own. So yeah, we're gonna be drinking these really soon. And actually, I'm getting kind of thirsty after filming this video. Anyways, I gotta get the rest of this stuff in. We're gonna come back at you with a few more tips and tricks so you guys could maximize your produce storage at home with my special tips. So now I'm inside my house, and you guys can see here's two of my refrigerators. I got one more in the main kitchen. This is off to the room off the side. And my 3 refrigerators where I keep all my food. Now I don't just have all my refrigerators set to the same temperature, because as you guys learn, some produce items, you know, don't like it too cold. They like it a little bit warmer. So in this part, I'm going to share with you guys actually the different temperatures I have in my fridges and how you could even store things above the preset temperatures that you could set inside your fridge. So this is like the fridge that came with my house. I really don't like it because it's not energy efficient, but hey, it came with a house, and until I find something cheaper and better, this is what I got, or until it breaks actually. And so this guy is one of the like double doors. I don't really like that so much, the side-by-sides. But anyways, inside this refrigerator, you guys can see, got lots of stuff. We got a jackfruit in there, I don't know, coconuts, all kinds of stuff. Anyways, what I got in each of my refrigerators is one of these guys. This is a little thermometer. On Amazon, I think they're under 10 bucks. You can get them on eBay for even less. They seem to be fairly accurate. I got like 4 of these, and they're all within like a 0.1 degree of each other. So that's definitely good to know. But yeah, so inside this fridge, it's 41.5 degrees. So this is not the super cold fridge, and actually my other fridge is maybe a little bit warmer. But this one's even a little bit colder because, you know, more tropical-ish fruits don't like it too cold, but some other things like it really cold. And just by dropping the temperature a few degrees, you can massively increase the length that you could store some of your fruits and vegetables. So, like I've been doing, I encourage you guys to play around with the storage temps as much as I quoted different storage temps, you know, a little bit earlier. You know, I found that even going out of the bounds of what they're recommending even works a little bit better. Anyways, let's go ahead and head in to the white fridge and show you guys what we got. So the first thing I want to say about my white fridge is I picked this up on Craigslist. It was like 80 or 100 bucks to me that like didn't need it anymore. And this is not a fridge freezer combo. This is 100% fridge, and this is what I would recommend for you guys because it really massively gives you more space to store things in the fridge. You know, I don't really store a whole lot of stuff in the freezers. Most of my food is in the fridge unless it's going ripe and I need to freeze it or something like that to store for later. I think some of the bananas from this last load are going to get frozen. But I like the fridge-only fridges. And anyways, the handle broke off on this, so I just got to kind of like open it like this. Let me show you guys what's inside. So inside here, it's like totally full. We got coconuts up on the top. We got cases of blueberries. We got sugar cane juice sitting in here. We got apples. Got some peppers. Got the cactus fruits. We got to use ASAP because they were kind of damaged. Got some grapes. Got some romaine hearts. But anyways, I wanted to show you guys this here. Thermostat in this fridge is 32.9. So I tried to keep this above 32. I don't want stuff freezing inside here. but I want this super cold, especially for the juices, right? I mean, you saw the other fridge, that's like 8 degrees warmer, like around 40, right? I want things at the lowest temperature. That's going to prevent the bacteria from growing as quickly and things from fermenting as quickly, because everything slows down when it's colder. You know, likewise, my blueberries, one of the most expensive things I purchased this last load, I got them in here so that I could keep them for a nice, good, long time. I mean, those blueberries probably will store easily for 2 weeks, although I'm probably going to eat them within a week, because tomorrow half this case is going to be gone. Lauren and I actually finished, I think, the first case in the first day we got them. And oh, the other thing I want to mention while I'm in here is these guys right here. Now I have 2 of these guys in here. You know, if you guys have been watching my videos for a while, you guys saw my Christmas episode. This is one of the devices I recommend. This is known as a Berry Breeze. Actually, the cheapest place to get these is on Amazon. I think when they originally came out, they're like 50 bucks, and they went down to 30, and then they went down to like 20, and then on Amazon, they're clearancing them out, because I guess there's a new model coming out or something, I don't know. But probably like under $15, if I remember. I'll put a link down below this video for this guy, but you see the little light flashing there. This unit produces activated oxygen, which basically will kill the bacteria and the mold and all that kind of stuff. So this ensures, you know, if you got your food at the right temperature and you're killing all the mold won't be able to grow, or it's going to grow significantly slower. That means your food's going to last longer. So I have 2 of these guys. I used to have 1, but I'm like, man, I want to double up. I want to make sure my food stays fresher longer, and for a minimal investment, I definitely think it's worth it. The other thing, this may help to counteract some of the ethylene that's let off by the fruit ripening process. This doesn't work so good on leafy greens. Leafy greens will still go bad pretty quick, but this really helps out with the fruits, and especially the berries. So we got that guy in there. But yeah, so this is my cold fridge, but that's just with the door open. It's up to 38, so I gotta close the door, man. So this is the last fridge I have in my house. This is actually my French door fridge, stainless steel. This is the kind of fridge that I like the most and would recommend you guys to get if you're just going to get one fridge. Because of the French doors, it has actually a lot more storage space than the side-by-sides, and this has a drawer on the bottom, you know, for the frozen foods. And this is computer controlled, so I like that a lot. You could just press the button and you can see the temperature that it's set at. I have this set for 38, and although it's set for 38, inside the thermometer reads like 40 degrees. Maybe this isn't quite as accurate, but you could set this just easily with the little up and down arrows. And you know, the other 2 fridges I have actually have dial controls, and the dial control doesn't tell you what you're setting it at, so that's why having a thermometer in there is very important to know where you're at. But anyways, this one goes up to a maximum of 47 degrees. We're going to set mine back down to 38. And you know, most fridges will probably go between that range, around 30s to like maybe if you're lucky up to 50, but mostly they try to stay in the 40s, because most times fridges, you don't want things too warm, actually, because it spoils very fast. The exception is certain tropical fruits and other fruits, you know, that don't like it too cold. You know, some of the vegetables do like it cold, but some of the tropical fruits can be difficult to store, because if you leave it out in ambient air temperatures, it may expire and go bad fast. If it's too cold, you're going to get some damage to it. So you got to have it just at the right temperature. So now I want to show you guys the last method that I use in my home to store my food at proper temperature. So now I want to show you guys the last way that I store my produce in my house, and it's with this guy right here. And for those of you guys that have watched me before, this is known as the thermoelectric cooler. You know, I travel with it. It works in the car, as well as I have the home adapter sitting over on this side right here. So I could plug it into the wall, and it works great. Now the challenge with a thermoelectric cooler is that you cannot set the temperature on it. The temperature of the thermoelectric cooler is 32 degrees below the ambient temperature in your room. So if this means if you're like below 60 degrees, the temperature inside here is going to be freezing, and it's going to be cold, and that's not going to be good for your produce. So the way I'm able to control the temperature in this thermoelectric cooler, or even a refrigerator that doesn't get down too low, although if your fridge has a freezer, you will not want to do this, so it'd probably work best with one of the dedicated fridges that I have, or even a chest freezer. You could actually use this device to ensure it does not get too cold in there and maintain a temperature that you want, that's perfect for your fruits and vegetables that you're storing specifically. So what I have here is a little temperature controller. This is called the Baylite. If I remember, I'll put a link down below to the Amazon where I bought this. And basically this has two plugs, one for heating, one for cooling. I'm using it actually only for the cooling. You know, you could use it for heating too, but that's beyond the scope of this video. Anyways, what this unit does is it has a temperature probe that comes out that's actually in my cooler here. And aside from the temperature probe that's down in the bottom, I also have one of those handy thermometers in there. So the inside here is 50 degrees. So I'm keeping this a lot, you know, warmer than any of my fridges, because the peppers don't like to be stored too cold. Below 45 degrees, which all my fridges are, they're going to see some damage, right? And if you store them and they're too warm, like just an ambient room temperature, then they're going to expire faster. I want to be able to eat my food and keep it at proper temperature to keep it as long as I can until I'm ready to use it without having it spoil, without having it go bad, without getting it moldy, right? So very important. So anyways, you set this for the desired temperature. So the desired temperature is on the bottom. It's 46 degrees. And then you set a differential. So my set temperature is 46 degrees, and if it gets 4 degrees warmer than that, or 3 or 4 degrees warmer than that, then the unit kicks on. It turns on this power so that the thermoelectric cooler could run, and then it gets down to the proper temperature, then it shuts off, right? And then, you know, this is pretty well insulated, so then it won't run for hours, and then as the temperature creeps up, this little unit senses the temperature's not in range, and then it kicks it back on. So in this way you can control a thermoelectric cooler, chest freezer, or even dedicated fridge to keep at the temperature you want, to store your fruits and vegetables at the proper temperature so that they could stay freshest the longest without damage. So I know you might be thinking, John, how do you know all the different temperatures to store the fruits and vegetables, and where can I get the list that tells me where to get it? So, you know, on many produce boxes that I buy at the wholesale produce terminal that you'll never see if you're just buying retail, it says store between these two temperatures. And those are temperatures that are guidelines put out by the USDA. Luckily, I found the USDA document. It's over 500 pages that goes over all the different fruits and vegetables, you know, how much ethylene and how fast they respirate, and the storage temperatures, post-harvest practices, all this kind of stuff. And it's actually right here. It's actually called The Commercial Storage of Fruits, Vegetables, and Florist and Nursery Stocks. Agriculture Handbook number 66, revised February 2016, put out by the USDA. So, you know, that's where I got a lot of the specs for this video today. And, you know, I found that in general, these are pretty good guidelines to follow, but in some cases, I tweak them a little bit, you know. So anyways, there's many different parts of this book here, and I just printed out the ones with the peppers here. And basically we'll tell you the scientific name and introduction. I'll talk to you about some of the different varieties, how to eat the peppers. I mean, it's just definitely really good, and I think that too many raw fooders don't know intricately and aren't familiar with all the different fruits and vegetables and all this stuff. So I think, you know, just it should be required reading, you know, if you're really into this stuff, to get to know them and how to pick out a good one. It talks about quality characteristics and criteria, horticulture maturity indices, grade, sizing, and packaging, pre-cooling conditions, so like before they're cooled, once out of the field, what do they do to them, optimal storage conditions, controlled atmosphere considerations, retail outlet display considerations, chilling sensitivity, ethylene production and sensitivity, respiration rates, physiological disorders, post-harvest pathology, quarantine issues, sustainability as fresh cut product, special considerations. I mean, there's lots of info in here, man. I mean, the text, it's kind of dry, you know, but it's really packed with information. And of course, references and further reading with all kinds of different, you know, studies that links to all the information that's in here. So anyways, I'm most concerned with, you know, optimal storage conditions and the chilling sensitivity. And it says chilling sensitivity. Peppers are sensitive to chilling injury when stored below 45 degrees. Symptoms include surface pitting, water-soaked areas, decay, and discoloration of the seed cavity. Symptoms can appear after a few days at 32 degrees or a few weeks at 41 degrees. Sensitivity varies with cultivar, ripe, and colored peppers are less chilling sensitive than green peppers. Actually, that would make sense to me because, you know, the colored peppers are less chilling sensitive than the green peppers. because they have more antioxidants to protect themselves from different problems or forces such as chilling. Anyways, so it says a few weeks at 41 degrees. Anyways, I've actually got pitting on some of my peppers when I've stored them in other fridges before. Anyway, so knowing this, we should never store our peppers below 45. That being said, if you have a whole fridge full of other fruits and your peppers don't like to be 45, but then your berries, to keep them longer, they need to be at 32, or your lettuce needs to be at 32, you got some issues. So you might want to just, store them in there for a few days, or have a couple fridges at different temperatures like I do, right? And then over here it says optimal storage conditions. Fresh peppers can be kept for 2 to 3 weeks at 45 degrees with 90 to 95% relative humidity. Storage life can be extended another week by packing in moisture retentive films between 45 and 50 degrees. So actually these peppers came in a moisture retentive film. I took that off. And let's see here. To accelerate ripening, bacterial soft rot when stored above, alright, so anyways, 55 degrees. So anyways, it basically just talks about the different temperatures you want to store them. So then follow these guidelines. It's not rocket science. So I have this, I don't want it to even get below 45 degrees. So I have this set between 46 and I think 48 is where it's supposed to be. And above that, this kicks on. So this controller is very sensitive to keep your exact temperatures. So doing that, I should be able to keep my peppers easily for 2 to 3 weeks. And then if I threw in one of those berry breezes in here, which I actually don't currently have, that might even extend it by another week or something. So, I mean, these are some of the techniques I use to store my produce. I think it's sad that no other raw foodist talks about this, that I'm aware of to the extent that I do. And I just make these videos for you guys to help you guys so you guys could do the best you can, whether you're storing your produce or whether you're eating a raw foods diet. I've had to learn a lot of these different things over the last 22 years I've been doing this now. And I simply share that with you guys. So I would encourage you guys to share this videos with others that you guys could think would help. Also be sure to click that subscribe button to be notified of my new and upcoming episodes. You never know what kind of information that could help you out to eat and store, and why fruits and vegetables are so good for you. And also be sure to check out past episodes. My past episodes are of wealth of knowledge, showing you guys some of my things that I've learned on my raw food journey. And finally, be sure to like this video. If you like this video, liked all the tips you got in this video, is helpful for you, like it. If I got enough likes, man, I'll go more into depth into storage and how I do it, because I mean, this just kind of scratched the tip of the iceberg on how I store stuff, and I could go even a lot further. But also, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I'm just sharing my life, sharing what I do on a daily basis. If I'm buying food, hey, you guys get a video on buying food. If I'm, storing food, I get a video on storing food. Anyways, I have fun. Hope you guys had fun watching this as well. And I guess with that, my name is John Kohler with OKRaw.com. We'll see you next time. And until then, remember, keep eating your fresh fruits and vegetables. They're always the best.